Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Narayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaye Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhir Yajatraha Sthirairangai Shishtuvagam Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahi Tanyadayuhu Swastina Indro Vriddhashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Swastina Starksho Arishtanemihi Swastino Brihaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Every human being, that includes all of us, is constantly searching for something. You go to management training programs, they will tell you your search is for perfection. You go to some other conference, they'll tell you your search is for accumulating wealth. Somebody else will come up and tell you your search is for doing good to others. That should be your entire purpose of life. Our Shastras have taken all of these various efforts we make as human beings, effort you make to gain more knowledge, to gain happiness, to gain Shanti, which we translate into various other Laukika things, into wealth, into fulfilling some desires, into doing dharma. All of these together have been clubbed into only three categories, as you know: Artha, Kama, and Dharma. Everything that you seek. But really, when you examine this, what are you seeking? What are you searching for? What is every human being searching for? Somewhere, we feel that we've got alienated from our own source. That there is a huge gap between whatever the source is, the adhisthana is, and I. And we look for this, for reducing the gap by saying, I have to be one who sees the difference between Ishvara as the Adhisthana, as the Jagat Karanam, and I is reduced. Every philosophy talks about this reduction of the gap between I and Ishvara, whatever the form of Ishvara is. We say we merge with Ishvara. We say we are a spark of Ishvara and go back to Ishvara. And many other expressions that you use to say that what I am seeking is to reduce this gap between I and Ishvara. But in all these thinking, Ishvara is seen as one entity and the Jiva, I, is seen as one entity, and all we are trying to do is to keep on reducing the gap as much as possible. We are seeking our own roots. In the meanwhile, we're doing so many things. Each one of it is only meant to do that. Human problem generally is because we don't know this, we see each action that you perform and each end that you try to achieve as an end in itself. One's effort to try and not be alienated from Ishvara, not be separate from Ishvara, to go to Vaikuntha, to go to Kailasha, to go to Mecca or Medina, at least temporarily, I feel I have reduced the gap. This comes from childhood. When a child is born, child is ignorant, born ignorant. But even that child, which is born ignorant, is searching for that link, that closing of gap with its own concept of Ishvara. For that child, the mother is Ishvara. Not that the child analyzes all this. Child doesn't say, my mother is my origin. Child doesn't think that my mother is all powerful. And as the child grows up a little bit, that child knows that if I have any kind of dukkha for a child, what is the dukkha? There's only one dukkha, hunger, sometimes colic or something other, some other physical dukkha. Mother is able to take care of all of them. Therefore, mother is Ishvara. And as it grows up, it finds mother knows everything. Child doesn't know anything. Child sees itself as alpagnya, and the mother as sarvagnya, and is constantly wanting to reduce the distance between the mother and I. Even when the child is out playing somewhere, every now and then child will come running to the mother, hold her sari for a few minutes, and go back to play. A child will want a piece of cloth which she identifies with the mother, even for sleeping. What is happening here is simply that Ishvara that the child identifies wants to make sure that physical distance, right? At that level is only physical distance, no other. And when somebody else wants to pick up the child's house many times. You are taking me away from Ishvara. I'm trying to go towards Ishvara. We do the same thing. We are all the time, every action that you do is an action aimed to reducing this gap between I and Ishvara. Everything that you do, whether it is clubbed under Artha or Kama or Dharma. Every action. Even a person who only is trying to build wealth, not knowing why he wants that wealth, is only trying to reduce this distance between him and Ishvara. You, as you grow older, I begin to understand more of the world. And you become very philosophical in your thinking. Then you say, I want not to die. I want to be. And there is a thirst for knowledge. All the time we are looking for more and more and more knowledge. And we're always looking to see what will make me happy. We don't know that the very definition of Brahman is Satyam, easiness, being, Jnanam, very basis for knowledge, and Anandam, Anantam. But instinctively we seek that. One is we seek Ishvara in the form that we imagine Ishvara in. Child imagines Ishvara in the form of the mother. Others, as we grow up, we imagine Ishvara in whatever form we imagine Ishvara in. And with that Ishvara, I want to constantly reduce the gap. When we say reduce the gap, our knowledge is limited to saying reduce the gap in terms of space. Ishvara, my Ishvara that I know is in Vrindavan. Therefore, somehow I must go to Vrindavan. My Ishvara is in Mecca. Therefore, every year I must go on a Hajj. At least that till that time I reduce the space gap. And we also try to reduce the time gap. Christ was 2000 years ago. Rama was 5000 years ago. But we imbue that form of Ishvara that we want with certain timelessness. So I want that Ishvara to be here and now because I am here and now. My idea of I is here and now. It's exactly like a wave searching for water. Or a pot searching for clay. We are doing exactly the same thing. We are looking, searching for our adhisthana. And every religion tells you, without knowing this background, that to reach your Ishvara, you have to live a life of dharma, a life of ahimsa, a life prescribed with certain do's and don'ts, the 10 commandments. If you live your life like that, then they spin stories. You can reach Ishvara. You can reach. I heard the story of Abu Ben Adam. I used to have this lesson in my school, I think 4th or 5th standard, 6th standard. Abu Ben Adam. He had an angel come to him in his dream, if I recollect the story correctly, and told him that you are with Ishvara because you are with all the other people. They're all Ishvara. You live a life of dharma, which means you reach out to help everybody else. You don't harm anybody else. Every religion tells you, you will reach a place, a time where you will be with God. This Advaita thinking just takes it one step further. Advaita thinking says, all that is very good. You have to be working towards reducing the gap between you and Ishvara. But understand Ishvara is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And that there never was a gap between you and Ishvara. There is no question of reducing the gap. There never was a gap. You are Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And how do I know this? How do I understand this? I am so strongly convinced that I am this body, mind, sense complex. And with that, and Ishvara, another set of body, mind, sense complexes, I can never build the gap. If all we are studying this Upanishad is for that jnanam, that Brahma jnanam. That jnanam of Brahma, which is the same thing as jnanam of yourself. This also tells you, keep yourself in a state of preparedness for gaining this knowledge. Otherwise, you will never be able to understand, I am that Ishvara that I seek. I am the seeker. I am also the sought. All right, I keep myself ready, then what happens? When you have cleared your mind completely of all kind of false notions, when you have done enough Shravanam and Mananam, Brahmaji is telling Arshavidyalaya, do nididhyasanam. Vivikta deshe cha sukhasanastha. Go to a quiet place and prepare yourself having prepared yourself physically otherwise and mentally otherwise, to prepare yourself for getting into the state of meditation. Vivikta dechesa sukha sanastaha, shuchis samagriva shirash shariraha. All preparation only. You are an atyashrami. All your indriyas are under control, niruddhya. You have a guru. Having mentally prostrated to the guru. Bhaktya swagurum pranamya. Have you done all that? Pundarikam virajam vishuddham. Can you put that on in the screen? Pundarikam virajam vishuddham.
Pundarikam virajam vishuddham.
Vichintya madhe vishadam vishokam.
Vichintya madhe vishadam vishokam.
Achintyam avyaktam ananta rupam.
Achintyam avyaktam ananta rupam.
Shivam prashantam amritam brahma yonim.
Shivam prashantam amritam brahma yonim.
Tathadi madhyanta vihinamekam.
Tathadi madhyanta vihinamekam.
Vibhum chidanandam adbhutam.
Vibhum chidanandam adbhutam.
Uma sahayam parameshwaram prabhum.
Uma sahayam parameshwaram prabhum.
Trilochanam neelakantham prashantam.
Trilochanam neelakantham prashantam.
Dhyatva munir gacchati bhuta yonim.
Dhyatva munir gacchati bhuta yonim.
Samasta sakshim tamasap parastat.
Samasta sakshim tamasah parastat.
Done all the preparation. Finally, it says Dhyatva munir gacchati. Munihi gacchati bhuta yonim. What is bhuta yonim? Yoni is the origin, state of origin. Adhisthana. From where you have arrived, from where you have come. That munihi evam dhyatva reaches bhuta yonim. Finally, after doing all the other things without a verb, finally we get a verb here, reaches bhuta yonim. What are doing? Having done what? Hrit pundarikam virajam vishuddham vichintya madhye. Hrit pundarika madhye. It's an expression. Heart, like is considered a lotus bud, is a space there where your mind and your buddhi are focused, where you look for that which you're searching. Who is searching? It's Pundarikam. Pundarika, you know, very interesting. Our Dr. Vishnu Mahalingam was not here today. It's Pundarikam. Pundarikam in the Napunsakalinga, the neuter gender, Pundarikam means a lotus. But here, we are talking about the Dvitiya. Everything you will see, Hit Pundarikam, Virajam, Vishuddham, Vichintyam, Vichintya Madhye, Vishadam, Vishokam, all second case. Because in masculine gender, Pundarikaha also will become Pundarikam in second case. But that has a completely different meaning. It means there are about a dozen meanings, including elephant, tiger, I don't know what all it has. Here is mutagender. Pundarikam. In the lotus-shaped heart, the space within the lotus-shaped heart, where your focus is, your dhyanam is not outward anymore. Leave all outside to outside and try and focus inward. With Pundarikam. Who should do this? One who is virajam. Again, deals with outside. What is rajas? Action-based thing. Do this, do this, do that, the other, etc. Even though all doing is for reducing this gap between you and Ishvara, because we don't realize it, all our efforts, all our actions pull us outward. So without rajas, without that kind of pressure, external pressure, one who has reached that state, one who has contained the pressures of ragadvesha. All our actions are at the realm of knowledge based on my ragadvesha only. Unless you can think of it as Ishvara Arpana Karma. Otherwise, it's all based on, I like this, therefore I do. I don't like this, therefore I don't do. So when you say virajam, rajas vina, that without that pressure of likes and dislikes, where the likes and dislikes have been totally controlled. Such a person, and what else? One more word for that. Vishuddham. Pure also means the same thing, but they use so many different words. What do you mean pure? Pure self, pure. He is a very pure person. He doesn't do anything based on ragadvesha. He does things that are to be done. Such a person you can call Vishuddha. The Tikakara calls Vishuddha Vigata samasta dukkhadi dosham. Vigata samasta dukkhadi dosham. Every action that we do, somewhere leads to certain type of dukkha, pressure dukkha, non-achievement dukkha, fear of failure dukkha, and after success dukkha. Every action. So the nice definition it gives here, it says Vishuddham Vigata Samasta Dukkhadi Dosham. Dukkha Adi Dosham. Various forms of dukkha that comes samasta, without that dosham. So virajam and viraja or virajam and vishuddham. Such a person who is now sitting on meditation, because up to this, all the preparation is given. He's sitting in meditation in an isolated place or isolated time. And he has to do this dhyana. For that, the precondition becomes. Such a person, vichintya, meditating upon, focusing on, thinking exclusively about. Vagata pravaha. Right? Thought process is focused only on one group of things. Such a person, Vichintya, where Tat Pundarikam Madhye, focusing inwards, on what? Every jhanam has to be on something. So one form we discussed yesterday was that it could be on my Ishta Devata. I have a form. I have stories to back my form. Therefore, I can focus on that Devata, on that form. It is relatively easy to do that. But eventually, you have to graduate out of that into meditating upon the formless, upon the attributeless. If it is going to be without form, without attributes, how are you going to describe it? Any attribute is meant to distinguish what you're focusing on from other things. Either within itself, svagata bheda, or with others in the same set, svajatiya bheda, or from other things, different things, vijatiya bheda. That's where you need that. A fragrant blue lily is a very commonly used example. I'm talking about a particular lily, particular flower. Flower is my group. A lily which is blue in color, not white or red or any other color. Therefore, I say blue. And there may be another blue lily which is not fragrant. I'm talking about the fragrant blue lily. I use these words to distinguish that particular object either within itself or with other objects in the same group or with other groups altogether. Either it's a flower. I'm distinguishing it from fruits or stones. You can use words like that to focus on one particular object. But here, it is not an object. You're saying meditate upon yourself. And the self is attributeless. So the only way he can do that is through a lot of not this, not this, not this. Non-flower, non-tree, non-object, non... It has to be negative. He uses a lot of words. Vishadam. That which is clear. Like a still pond of clean water is clear, untainted. There's nothing in there. Not even a ripple which will disturb your sight. Vishadam. That Nirmalam, in fact, the Tikakara calls it Shuddha Spatika Sankasham. You heard this word, Shuddha Spatika Sankasham. You heard it also in the Rudram, in the Jhana Sloka of Rudram. Shuddha Spatika Sankasham, Trilocham Neelakantam, all about Shiva. In also you hear this in Vishnu Sahasranamam. That which is crystal clear. Any attribute that you get see on that does not belong to it. It belongs to something else, and it looks as though the attribute belongs to it. Vishadam. So, Pundarikam Virajam Vishuddham Vichintya Madhye Vishadam Vishokam. There's no shokam. Vigata shokaja dukkham vishokam. That any shoka born, any dukkha born from shoka, vishokam. Last class we discussed that this Chaitanyam, consciousness, is what illumines whether it is shoka, dukkha, or sukha. It is not, I'm looking at sukha, I'm looking at dukkha, they all belong to the same scale. But that which makes me aware of dukkha, makes me aware of sukha also. That which makes me aware of my ignorance, that which makes me aware of also my knowledge. So, Vishokam, that which is doesn't have any cause for shoka. Arjuna is told by Bhagavan, you are grieving on things which you should not be grieving upon. There is no cause for it. Because you look at the wrong thing. That which makes you aware of dukkha or sukha. Therefore, no cause for dukkha. Vishokam. That which we falsely identify with as being I does not belong to us, to I. Vishadam. Nirvana should come. Acharya says, I'm not this, not this, not this, not this. Name dvesha ragav, name lobha mohav. It's not me. If there is disturbance in my mind, I am not disturbed. My mind is disturbed. And why is the mind disturbed? Something has happened somewhere. And because I identify with my mind, I say I am disturbed. If there is a pain in my back, I say I am in pain. No, you're not in pain. I can never be in pain. It is Vishokam. The body is in pain. Body has to be in pain because body has to go through its karma phala. If you can dissociate yourself with that, is what he's suggesting. In dhyanam, that's why he told you earlier in the previous verse, to sit in a comfortable position. Khastham. So all these things, distracting pains don't come to you. All these words that are used because that is the mistake we make. Vishadam, because we associate all impurities with I. Impurities does not necessarily mean negatively. I'm not using it negatively. That's why that Shuddha Spatika Sankasha makes a lot of sense. A clear crystal can take any color. It's not that red color is negative and green color is positive. That's only in a traffic light. But here, it just says that whatever is external to it appears as though it has got the same attribute. That's one mistake we make. Similarly, Vishokam. Every shokha, every dukkha, every pain, we say, I am in pain. Therefore, it says Vishokam. But I am free from any form of grief. I am the awarer, I am the illuminator of both grief and ananda. When we see a dream self in pain, during the dream state, we associate ourselves with that dream self. And we feel that pain. In fact, dream is also a karma phala. In that temporary time frame, we feel that pain or the happiness. Both the same, both are same. It is an exhaustion of a karma phala. In my dream, I see myself very happy. Some punya karma exhausted. I see myself very unhappy. Some papa karma exhausted. But fortunately, we know it is temporary. We wake up and we're okay, we're clear on that. We see a movie and we laugh, we cry, because we identify with the character in the movie, knowing very well that the movie is an illusion. How many people have sat in movie halls and cried because something is happening to the hero or heroine? We identify. The fortunate thing is there we identify and then we get out identification fairly quickly. Movie is over, we're going back. There are also some of the people, they can't get out of it so easily. We can't get out of this at all. That because of the identification we have, that shokha that we experience, we attribute to I and say, I am in grief. In the movie, when you see and you cry, you get out of it after the movie. Here also time takes care of it. Somebody close to a person died. Somebody's child died. It's a great sorrow. In the world, this is considered one of the biggest sorrows to have your child die, because there's akramam. Kramavat, what should it be? This older generation should go first and then the next generation go. But the next generation goes before you, it is akramam. The kramam is not there. It's considered a greatest dukkha. That dukkha is attributed to I. It says Vishadam Vishokam. What else does it say? Achintyam. Not available for thought. How can it be available for thought when thought itself is arising because of the presence of I consciousness? I am there, therefore thought is there. Otherwise, thought has no existence. A thought envelopes an object, but the thought itself is illumined by I. It is not available for thought. Achintya. All these words to disabuse us of the errors we make. That which is avyaktam. Why is it not available for thought? Because it's avyaktam. A thought can only envelope a vyakta, an object, not necessarily physical object. An object as in the sense of grammar. Second case. I see Rama. Rama becomes the object. I have an idea. Idea becomes the object. In the sense, in the grammatical sense. Second case object. A thought can identify that, envelop that object and present it to the mind. But the very thought itself is existent because of I consciousness, which is not only achintyam, it is avyaktam. It is not an object. What can thought do without an object? I have an idea where the idea is the object, the thought can go to the idea. But the I cannot generate. Therefore, it is not only achintyam, it is avyaktam. I will rephrase that. I am avyaktam. And I am ananta rupam. It is the same I that you see in all the forms. Living, non-living forms. Living, so many varieties of forms. Non-living, so many varieties of forms. Forms which are near me, forms which are away from me. I like this example. You go to a shop which sells pottery. He has thousands of objects there. All are what? Clay. And if that small pot there in that shop, identifying with its name and form, sits there in shokha. Look at that pot. So beautiful, so big. So many people are coming and looking at that. Nobody comes to look at me. I'm so small. Small pot, big pot. If the pot identifies with the nama rupa, then there's individuality. That vividham, all of them are nothing but clay. If from that shop we remove clay, how many objects are left? Only clay. Gold ornaments, we've seen this. You go to the gold shop, it's got chains, rings, bangles, nose rings, earrings, all sorts of things to put all over the place. There's only one object, one vastu, one atma, one adhisthana, gold. Without that gold, there is none of these, not one item left in the gold shop, gold jewelry shop. Ananta Rupam. It takes on so many names and forms, all of which are insubstantial because they're very adhara, very adhisthana is only one substance, gold, atma. Like that, everything here, every being, every human being, every non-human being, every inert being, they are only nana rupa. He who is able to see the one in the many is a wise man. But what do? We see only many, all different from each other. That's how we start. That's okay. I am I, you are you. I'm a good person, you're not a good person. I'm an Indian, you're an American. Because we don't see the oneness in all of them. Therefore, Ananta Rupam. Shivam. That which is auspicious, pure. Shiva has another meaning in the form which you give to Shiva. But Shivam literally means that which is auspicious, that which is pure, which is Prashantam. It is only Shanti. Prakashena Shanti. There is no vikara, no change, no disturbance, no agitation. In Dakshinamurti Stotram, how does it start? How does Dakshinamurti Stotram start?
Maunavyakhya
prakatita parabrahmatattvam yuvanam varshishthante vasatrishiganaihi avritam brahmanishtai. That's not the verse we're looking for. Acharyendram karakalita chinmudram. Acharyendram karakalita chinmudram ananda rupam swatma ramam mudita vadanam dakshinamurti mide. That mudita vadanam comes from Prashantam. It's an expression of Prashantam. Swatma ramam, one in its own self, revels in its own self, doesn't require anything outside, doesn't have anything outside. Prashantam. Whether Shanti Swarupam. Again, all because, like I said, we identify with Ashanti with us. That's why we pray for Anashanti. And because we identify with Ashanti, we seek Sukha all the time. Ashantasya kutas sukham. Bhagavan says. No Sukha without Shanti. Shanti is Sukha. And Sukha is Ananda is Anantam. Therefore, Amritam. There's no Mrita. Amritam. Amritam implies a lot of things. No birth. Amritam literally means no death. It means no birth also. And no vikara anywhere in between. That which is the adhisthana in which others rise and die, rise and die, rise and die. It is the ocean and the water of the ocean in which the taranga, the wave, rises and dies, rises and dies, rises and dies. So within that limited universe, that Jalam is Amritam. Jalam doesn't die, wave dies. A flame dies, We saw in the other example. A flame is born and flame dies. But what is the basis, adhisthana for that? Ātmatattva, which is heat and light. It doesn't die. It remains. But flame appears to have taken a shape, take a form at a point in time and dies at another point in time. It is interesting that flame we should look at as a, somewhere I saw, I noted down something. Oh, I remember where I wrote it down. Trying to talk to some children about why light a flame. In every house, we light a lamp. Because one flame can become many flames. Nice simile. So that one Atma become many Atma. Apparently become many. But what is original there is only the Agni Tattva. Yot se jyot jagate chalo. There's a song, no? Light one lamp from another lamp. Okay. And Prashantam Amritam Brahma Yonim. Which is the cause for everything. The origin for everything. Which is what we are seeking. Shrishti, Sthiti, Laya, everything. I exist because of I. What a statement. I exist. The I that I think I am, exist because I am. That I, which is the cause for everything. Mayoni. I exist because of my parents. Therefore, you also do namaskara to parents. They are the last in the line of your existence. But if you trace it back, there is only one yoni, one source of everything. Brahma yoni. That which is Bruhat Sarvasmat Adhikam. Not a very good definition. Yonim Jagat Janmadi Karanam. Better. Jagat Janmadi Karanam. Yatha Etad Visheshena Jatam Tadvat Swarupa. That which is the cause for everything. Avara Jangamam, all the way from Brahmaji down, everything. Brahmaji himself is talking, remember. He is saying Brahma Yonim. Even Brahmaji, I am the cause for Brahmaji, and everything else further down. Shivam Prashantam Amritam Brahma Yonim. Still in second case. Still hasn't gone past saying, okay, so what about them? There's more to come. Tata Adi Madhya Anta Vihinam Ekam Vibhum Idanandam Arupam Adbhutam. You'll see this more for the next one. And then having said all this, eventually comes down to Yatva Munir Gacchati Bhuta Yonim. The same Bhuta Yoni, Dhamma Yoni, which is the Bhuta Yoni, that wise man reaches in quotes. We will continue this next one. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.